that I'd rather these nights without you got me going so mad. There's no one like you that I'd rather have. These nights without you, these nights without you. When I want you back, when I want you back, I realize how I'm still stuck in the past, stuck in the without you. Entering the Chakaverse, Chaka Crypto. Welcome to the Chakaverse. He all speaking Chaka facts, I'm out speaking Chaka words. We all making Chaka raps, we call this the Chakaverse. No, I can't help you cop the bag, but I can help you do research. So come and join the Chaka pack, explore the Chaka universe.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Chaka Crypto, and this is the Chakaverse, where we cover crypto news, NFTs, metaverse, and everything in between. And today we have the CROWBOYS GameFi. They're gonna be. I got Christopher in the background. He's gonna come up and tell us all about CROWBOYS. If you don't know what CROWBOYS is, I got a quick clip for you. Go ahead and check this out. All right, now without further ado, let's go ahead and bring up our guest for today. What's going on, man? Christopher.
Hey, Chris. You can call me Chris, man. You can call me Chris.
What's going on, Chris?
Oh, nothing much, man. Me and my wife, we just moved into a new house, so like we got boxes everywhere and everything. I'm actually setting up our studio right now. It's nutty, but but we're having fun though. It's part of the process.
Cool, man. Yeah, so CROWBOYS, dude. I this project caught my attention a while back, and I'm glad you came on the channel to let us know where it's at. I'm excited to.
My absolute pleasure, man.
Yeah. So, but before we get into it, if you don't mind, can you give us an introduction of yourself and how you?
Yeah, man.
Became part of the project?
Absolutely. Yeah, would love to. Yeah, so a little bit about me. So I'm out of New Jersey. I grew up in the greater New York area. My name is Christopher Michael Noble. I am a software engineer. I specialize in artificial intelligence and blockchain technologies. Basically, my career started when I was really young. I came from a decently sized family. And so what ended up happening is at a young age, we didn't have a lot of money. I'm actually first generation Irish. My father's family is from Dublin. And what ended up happening is one day, there was a richer family down the street, and they threw out an old IBM. This is in the 90s. I'm 33 years old. They threw out an old IBM, a 5150 it was called. And what ended up happening is I pulled it from the garbage, went to a garage sale and found Cosmic Crusader. So I started playing on basically on that. And then that led to trying to get a better understanding of the computer. I always loved taking things apart and putting them back together. And what ended up happening is I learned BASIC through like a little manual that I also got at the garage sale. And then from BASIC moved on to obviously C++, JavaScript. That moved into I'm a big Rust fan for all the techies out there, Haskell, just a multitude of things, but mostly Java is what I specialized when I was obviously in college, Python, R. And yeah, so for the most part, I moved on from there. Came from a family-owned logistics company. My family owned a logistics business. It was government contracted. So I grew up in a pretty strict business background. Opened my first business basically in high school. It started out as a small media productions because social media took off, and everybody at the time had like MySpace pages, and they wanted designs, and people started paying me to do it. So I was like, oh wow. So it was pretty cool. And then from there, my segue into college obviously went to Rutgers University. And then from there, I ended up opening basically an IT company called IQ. And then I was really just into the industry. I got into crypto about 2015. Ethereum, obviously, things at the time, they became a little corporatized for me, especially with everything that was going on with OpenSea and stuff like that. So, I was always had my ear to the industry for the longest time, being an investor in the market. And then I came across Kronos literally before it launched, and I was just captivated. I was a small collector. I started the NFT analytics platform. And then what ended up, that was on Ethereum at the time. And then when I came into Kronos, there was a bunch of projects that I loved at the time, like the CROWBOYS, et cetera. There's quite a few projects that are killing it right now. Shout out to Boomers and Meerkats, et cetera. So what ended up happening is I was in the CROWBOYS very early on. And what ended up happening is Mateus at the time, he had some difficulties. He was one of the co-founders. And he had some stuff that he was going through with family, and the workload just became really heavy for him. It wasn't something that he was able to continue on with because he had some other obligations. He was an engineer for Boeing as well, the defense company. So what ended up happening is I sat down, I had a conversation with them, and a lot of people were worried. They're like, did it get rugged? Did something happen? No, nothing happened at all. It was just simply it needed an overhaul infrastructure-wise. There was just a lot going on that slowed it down. So I said, well, listen, he's like, you've managed. I was an operations manager at the time for a company doing DevOps, and I was in charge about, almost 1,000 employees. I was directly supervising. And what ended up happening is he was basically like, hey, why don't you, is this something that you want to do? If the community wants it, then I support it. And everyone was like, yeah, make Hustle Hat. That's my AKA. And everyone's like, make Hustle Hat. They go, Hustle Hat, you should do it. And I'm like, wait, what? I was surprised at first. And then as I sat down, I was like, well, I need to hold a meeting with my family because I'm a family man. And my 4-year-old's running around right now, and he's about to start school this year. So, what ended up happening is I sat back and I was like, I had a family meeting with my wife, my brother, a few others. And I was like, we had determined, is this something we want to take on? Because when I take something on, I go all in. And I don't stop until it's, I'm a workaholic. It's a bad thing. Some people wear it as a badge of honor, but literally my wife will be like, go for it. My wife will be like, sweetie, it's time to get off the phone, or it's time to get off this. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Then you got to pay the bill, things got to go. So, I jumped on and I said, you know what? She's like, listen, sweetie, your heart was already made up. I could see it in your eyes. She's like, you want to do this? And I'm like, I do. And I love the community, and everything that was going on in Kronos at the time. It seemed like everybody was really approaching this space from a level that was more like, it's very rudimentary. It seemed like a bunch of people just throwing money at projects, and there was a couple rug pulls and stuff like that here and there, which is it's to be had on any network. And what I realized right away is nobody was running this quite like a business. At least how I felt, you know what I mean? It was just very unprofessional in some ways. So we got to work. The first thing was to overhaul the infrastructure, new team members, basically overhaul the roadmap, the documents, to make sure that everything on the back end was done. I started coding out some of the contracts, a bunch of the other stuff that we needed to get done with the avatar drops, et cetera. And then I got to work on partnerships. My next step was networking, and I sealed a great partnership with Kronosverse, which is the biggest metaverse. Obviously on Kronos, and then sealed another deal with a Bisus Bay, which we got some stuff that we're working on together too, with something called GameFi Nation, which is going to be incredible. And just a lot going on right now. So yeah, we're having the time of our life, man.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I remember this project, and I was like, I wonder what happened. I just I'd never kept up with it, and then I was like, dang. So is the same mint and everything is everything the same, or did anything change with the NFT mint?
Yeah. So something's definitely changed. We have an updated roadmap that's actually about to be released soon, as well as a bunch of new stuff with the documents. We're definitely taking a different approach. So the first half of the actual launch is going to be a mini game on Kronosverse, and the reason why is because we really saw value in the partnership because of obviously the assets they bring to the table in their community is really great. And they basically said, hey, would you like to be a part of our community? The co-founder CEO at obviously the project, he also was the owner of a game studio called Top Block. So what ended up happening is it just made sense. Or like, how about we do the initial launch in Chronosverse because they have a following there. We have our following, and you could just combine people. I mean, I'm a big advocate because I came from a very technical background. I also did marketing for a really long time. And what I ended up learning is that, a lot of people in Chronos, it almost feels sometimes like when you're in Twitter Spaces or you're in Clubhouse, like you're pitching to the same people. And I ended up realizing that a lot of people are rewashing the same followers. So we started realizing that it's probably a lot better. The future of crypto is going to be when platforms start growing together and merging and obviously finding new ways to work together to tap into each other's markets and communities. And I realized that also because I was actually pulled up on stage as a tech consultant for a really huge space that was going on with Grant Cardone. So even Grant Cardone was asking me some questions, a few people regarding AI. We went over some blockchain briefly as well. And I realized that within under a few minutes, like on my other account, I had like 1,000 followers. So we said, okay, well, wow, you don't get that same, amount of people even when you're on a big crypto space. It's because there's more skepticism. There's, obviously it's almost like you're pitching to project directors and moderators sometimes. Just because the market's down and people right now are holding on or putting their assets into, things like gold and silver and real estate, which I understand usually what ends up happening in markets like this. So we just started patiently building quietly in the background throughout the bear market. We never left. We were one of the few projects that stayed loyal to the community, and we take pride. You come into our Discord, you'll probably get a response from anybody in under 10 seconds. I mean, we're on top of it. And we take pride in that, in the fact that we led with the community first. And a lot of people say that, but their actions don't reflect it. So we got to work and start reaching out to other chains and other projects to try to get together this greater collective, which is how GameFi Nation came about. And the concept is that we kind of unify a bunch of gaming projects and the engineers, the project directors. And the reason why is because one of the concepts that we wanted to do is you're going to be able to take your project characters from other, like your NFTs from other projects, and you'll be able to use them in our game eventually. So it's almost like we're creating this world where, people can integrate, and it's not like, okay, I'm stuck in this one verse. And the cool thing about it is we're going to start the initial launch with a low poly mini game, ultimately moving to the in-house game, which is going to be very much Fortnite-ish esque, but a Wild West is how I like to at least describe it, which is going to eventually turn the avatars from low poly. Everything's going to go to a really high upscaled, high definition characters. And we actually just dropped a sneak peek of that probably about 2 days ago inside of our Discord. And people are now actually, you can scroll down, keeps going. Let me see if did I drop it in there? No, I didn't. That's actually gameplay for the mini game. So that's what we're developing and working on now. That's some gameplay in Chronosverse. We're gonna have a free for all mode.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good, man. We're gonna have a free for all mode, a team deathmatch mode. We're working on a bank robbery mode where it's kind of like domination, except one team has to rob the bank, one team has to save it, and whoever wins actually wins real crypto. So like all the loot. You can challenge people to a duel. You can put up whatever asset you want, whether it's crypto or whether it's an NFT. So that's going to be pretty cool. And so, a lot of stuff going on, but people think in this industry, everyone wants things now. It's instant gratification. And we know how people are, but for us, we're just going to build. I mean, while people are talking, we're not trying to oversell, overpromise, because we know this is a very technical project. We were the very first. We probably take pride in this almost more than anything. We were one of the first projects. Actually, we were the first GameFi project, period, that ended up also becoming a company because we're licensed on Chronosverse, period. So what ended up happening is there was other game projects that obviously came after us. You can see we started probably 2020 was the concept started being developed towards the end of the year. And then when Chronos launched, we made this account in January of 2022, I believe. And then we've been here ever since. So, at this point, it's just taking it a day at a time.
Yeah. So is this the mini game right here also?
Yeah, that's going to be part of everything, man. There's going to be a bunch of different. Basically called West City. So West City is going to be the metaverse where you can go. There'll be a saloon. We're going to be hosting poker tournaments. We're going to have a lot going on. So there's already some buildings like that we have up in Chronosverse, and we're developing more and more and more. It'll start with West City, and it'll eventually, who knows, sky's the limit. It might venture out a little more. We have concepts. I'm not going to leak anything too crazy, but we got some pretty dope concepts on the horizon right now, where we're already looking at expansions in the future when we start the development for the in-house.
That's awesome, man. It's good to hear that this project's still building. And so the mini game going to look similar to this? I know you mentioned something. So the mini game is just basically a smaller version of the main game.
Yeah, so it's going to be a smaller and then low poly. So this version of the game is going to be a low poly, 8-point poly version. And then obviously the version that we're going to build in-house with the metaverse in-house is going to be more high definition. So that's going to be more, like I said, akin to your Fortnites, where you're more familiar with the high definition graphics. Very, very Pixar-like. I don't know if you have access to the Discord. I don't know if there's a possibility that you're in it.
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull it up on the screen. Yeah, I get a lot of alerts when I'm on Discord.
Oh, no problem. Because we actually have some pictures of the avatars that we're dropping. So what ended up happening is it's kind of going to be very Pixar is how I describe it. So the graphics are very much like Pixar, and the studio obviously that makes movies, etc. And it's going to be very high definition and akin to that. So yeah, we're really excited about that as well.
Nice. And so this is built on Chronosverse?
Yeah, so the mini game's going to be built in Chronosverse. Absolutely.
Okay, cool, man. And about the team, is it just you working on this right now, or who's
No. I wish I could take that much credit. So no, yeah. So obviously, I'm a semi-pro quarterback for a football team out here in the tri-state, and we do play, across state lines. And if there's one thing I learned about being a leader, even as a quarterback, I learned a good leader knows when to follow. A great leader knows when to listen. So, sometimes you got to take advantage of the skill sets of your other team members, which is why they're there. All great leaders grow by putting a great team around them. And that's what we were able to do. We got some great community managers. I got a couple devs that work with me on the side in the background as assistants, basically. And yeah, so the team's pretty solid. We brought on an HRCO. She's actually an HR director for Continental. So she's in charge of, Lord knows, incredible amount of employees, thousands. And what that really looks like is basically our goal behind that is we realized the big thing that's not happening in CDC. I'm not saying they're great. I love crypto.com. I think everything they're doing to push, obviously, crypto to the little guy and to people that really perhaps are not aware of what's going on in this world is great. It's incredible. It's what we need. But the one thing that we need the most is good onboarding. And I feel like, they could do a lot better in that department. So we took it upon ourselves. We realized we can't really rely on CDC to do that. And that's what a lot of projects are doing. They're waiting for like you hear it all the time. People are like, the bull market's going to come. And it's like, okay, so what? Like, just because the price of Crow a couple weeks ago was what 0.05, dropped as low like 0.00 whatever 4. And what ended up happening is now that it's at 7.9, it's like, okay, well, guess what, guys? It's a little more bullish and nothing's happening. So it's like people are waiting for people to come to them. And unfortunately, it's not how it works. Like, in any business, you have to go to the clientele. So we actually are now building an infrastructure for onboarding where we're going to have a YouTube channel, videos, a podcast, basically live. We're going to do explainers, onboarding for people with wallets. I mean, just everything in general, because we're also going to be developing a wallet in Q3, Q4, which is going to have chat capabilities, sorting capabilities, a whole bunch of stuff that, we do everything off feedback. So I'm a data-driven guy. I don't like to make emotional decisions. Even though my intuition, I feel sometimes is solid, I still don't like to do it. So I usually have an idea. I check the data out. I run it by my team, and we kind of vote on it unanimously. And what we realized is that, onboarding was a really big issue. So we're going to focus on the onboarding and making sure that as people come in, we can remove some of those barriers. And we started getting a lot of feedback on other things like, features that were missing in wallets, things that went wrong with the loaded Lions Land sale, a bunch of different things like that. And we realized, okay, Well, probably it's a good idea to listen to these mistakes and see how we can implement some strategies and solutions. Because, in my experience in all my businesses, what really made it successful was the fact that we led with value first, and we put the customer first. And sometimes that looks like doing things for free, and people don't like that, and people
Yeah.
don't understand it. In order to grow any business, unfortunately, sometimes you got to put the work in first, and before you can even receive any of the benefits that come on the back end.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a lot more than just a game. And I want to go over this stuff, but let's so I can keep on track with the questions I wanted to ask. So now you have the NFTs. Are those minting right now?
Yeah, so right now the founders crates are minting. So you can head on over there right now and grab one of the founders crates, and those are absolutely crucial. Obviously we got to about 15% of the mint out, which is usually about average in this market before things eventually slow down a little bit due to the market. But we didn't really let that we're not building and relying on the actual mint solely to kind of get this going. And a lot of projects are, we bootstrapped a lot of this stuff, and I spent, a decent amount out of my pocket, and I'm holding that up on that end as we're minting out little by little. And then obviously we break everything down between the team. Royalties go to obviously the community gets their portion, etc. We did a 30,000 crow round of staking recently. We just signed basically we sealed a deal with Cyborg Swap for lifetime staking. So you can go over there on Cyborg Swap and stake for a lifetime for their platform token, and that's really cool. So,
Oh,
little by little, we're working that stuff in there. And the crates, basically what they do is they're the foundation of all of this. They're going to play a massive role in everything you do. So we're developing a concept where there's going to be different paths that you can take in our project. And nobody's really done this, which is why we really like it. It's probably because it's a little harder and a little technical, but we rather put in the work up front because we really think it's going to pay off. We can't stress enough to people we're a long-term project. So, we build quietly behind the scenes. And with these crates, you're going to be able to essentially not only get your automatic weapon drops and free crow when we do the crate openings, which is going to be happen towards the end of Q1, because we're launching a DEX, which we'll get into, I'm sure.
yeah.
And what's going to happen with that is when we launch that, essentially you're going to be able to, as we have this big crate opening, get airdropped all this neat stuff. And the crates are going to give you access to the game. The crates are going to help you determine what paths you're going to take in the actual game, so you can actually choose to build inside of our ecosystem and take different paths, whether it's a bandit, most wanted. We have different roles, and depending on those roles or which one that you take, it's going to really determine your outcome in the project.
And that the paths you take, is that determined on what crate you get, or is that an option that you get to make the decision?
No, yeah, that's an option that you're going to get the decision. So we really want to put power back into the hands of gamers, because that's honestly what this is all about. It's about putting power back into the hands of the people, because a lot of people, when they play, for example, Call of Duty games, they end up, let's say, spending all this money on a season, and then when it's over, they lose everything they worked so hard to build. And
Yeah.
it's hard for people, when they're dumping all their money into these assets, and they're not getting back in return what it is that they're looking for. And because of that, we said, well, crypto, obviously Web3 was a way that we can combat that, and which is why we decided to really take this project on. So yeah, people will be able to determine their roles on their own.
Now, what do you get with these crates? I can see here, is West your guys's coin?
Yeah, so Wes
Or
is going to be yeah, so we're going to have a what's going to be called an IDO, initial DEX offering. And when we launch the DEX, obviously we're going to be launching that with our West token, and then there's going to be a Wild token. We're basically pegging our coin. The first time this has ever happened. We haven't announced it really publicly too much. Where we're going to actually peg it to the gold standard algorithmically. And the reason why is because a lot of people were iffy about obviously the US standard because of everything that's going on. And regardless of whether it's strong or weak or whatever happens, we wanted to find a medium where, everybody can feel almost like Bitcoin, where it's not something where if the asset gets hit by the market, it's going to tank. It's something that's a little bit more stable. So we decided that would be really cool. Obviously, we want to take it to an actual gold standard, but we reached out to a couple people and companies that are involved in that space, and it hasn't been done. There's countries trying to do it, like Russia's trying to do it right now, an algorithmic, well, not even algorithmic, but actually pegging a digital currency to gold. but you obviously have to have the supply of gold. And a lot of companies are a little bit iffy right now because they would have to obviously keep records and track of all their assets, and to peg that obviously to the coin is going to be a little bit difficult for the simple fact of you have to find somebody that's willing to let you do that, so you can obviously cover the liquidity. So for now,
Yeah.
we're going to do that algorithmically, and that's going to be an in-game currency. So what people will be able to do is use that to buy our NFTs, to game transactions, a little bit of everything. But every transaction that you do in this game and everything that happens in this game goes back to the community. So, part of that goes into a liquidity pool, which gets redistributed to throughout the team, throughout everybody that's obviously involved in the project in general, and most importantly, the players and everyone who's involved on the community side. And basically why we did that is in case something ever happens in the market with West, nothing will affect the obviously in-game currency, so people can continue to play and not be in fear of obviously losing their assets.
Now on okay, so you have the good, the bad, the ugly crates, and they earn a different amount of West. Is that something that you're going to have to go into a website to receive, or is it automatically sent to the wallet?
Yeah, that's going to actually be automatically sent to the wallet. There's a whitelist, and obviously we'll have a wallets of the actual game players and everybody that's involved, and that's all going to be automated. We feel like that shouldn't be something that you guys have to worry about. But the good thing is, if sometimes we are human. If we do miss something, we tell people, just open up a support ticket. Somebody will get to you very briefly, and then we can just obviously get that to you.
Nice. Let's see. So we went over the NFTs. Anything else over the NFTs you'd like to touch on? I mean, what do you get in these crates?
Yeah, so in the crates you get weapons, you get Crow, you obviously get another project NFT. So we have partnerships, and then there's uniques where there's obviously only 8 of them. And if somebody gets those, they're unique, one of a kind weapons. They're one of one. They'll never be made again. And they're extremely rare. So a lot of people are kind of gunning for them right now. There's constantly, and here's the tricky part. The reason why we made it so fun was it doesn't matter. We wanted to make it fair. So people, a lot of people are after ugly crates, but what ends up happening is they're not always so easy to get. So because we know that people would try to list only the ugly crates for this really high end price, we distributed those uniques across different crates. So whether it be good, bad, or ugly, if you find one that has a unique weapon, and you'll know because most of the weapons are just guns, a pickaxe, dynamite. If you see something unique on there, which I won't say what it is because it's almost like Find Waldo. Like we kind of set it up to where people have to look for it. And if you see it and you find it, they're beyond rare because those guns or whatever they may be will be 101.
Nice. And is this is there a plan is this a play to earn, or how is that going to
Yes. Yeah, so it's going to be a P2E. So basically everything you do when you do duels, when you win, obviously, matches, championships, whatever it may be, because we're obviously going to be holding tournaments and stuff like that, everybody will be able to earn. Yep.
Nice. Now, I mean, you guys got a lot going on. I could probably spend all day talking about the stuff that you've mentioned, but okay. So now you said you guys are going to be launching an exchange, a DEX.
Yeah, that's the goal, man. We're basically pretty much finished with it now. We're doing some testing on a test net before we obviously launch on the main net. We just want to make sure security is really big. Obviously, as an engineer, to me, I think security is the top priority. And we wanted to do it right. We just didn't want to just copy and paste. A lot of people that aren't devs, they don't know this, but people fork a lot of projects. Like 90% of all the dexes that you see are like forks of Sushi Swap, etc. So what ends up happening is people just take the code and they rework it a little bit. And there's not much, innovation or original stuff that's going on as much as people say, which is something that we kind of became an MO of ours. Like, our goal was to innovate and just come up with concepts where essentially they're not just superficial and we're slapping them out there because everybody else is doing it.
Yeah. And you'll be able to stake your NFTs here also to earn wild, or is it the cyborg? Is the cyborg swaps?
Yeah, it's a different entity entirely.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll be able to stake your NFTs. Not only will you be able to stake your NFTs, but essentially you'll be able to stake cryptocurrency. There'll be pools, there'll be a launch pad, a little bit of everything.
Nice. It looks clean from right here. Have you guys set a date on when this is going to be released? I know the games is hard to set time limits on. It's going to be
Yeah, this is actually looking more towards the end of Q1 going into Q2. So somewhere in between there. We're not dead set on the release date exact, but we know it's going to be between Q1 Q2.
And then I did see something on the website. Is this going to be available for mobile? Is that in the plan?
Yes, sir. That's the plan. Yep, absolutely. So when we bring all this in-house, obviously our in-house game, it's going to be available on mobile as well. We're also debating whether, obviously, we're going to be doing, our community voted, so a little bit has changed. A lot of people want to do a 3PS. So we're going to be going with the 3PS route. We also debated for the mobile version doing a top-down game, but that's something that's obviously in discussion right now.
What is 3PS?
So third-person shooter, and you have an FPS, a first-person shooter. Yep, and then which is more like your Fortnite, obviously, and then you have your top-down game style, which is very much where it's kind of like an overhead view, and the character it's still 3D. Everybody moves very much like third-person, except it's top-down.
Nice, man. And then what is this with the Chat GPT? I see it on your guys' Twitter.
Yeah, no problem. Let me get my charger. My phone is
okay.
Looking a little wonky. Yeah, so with Chat GPT, gotcha. So part of the things that we discussed, as we were discussing it earlier, where people really ask us a lot about, let me get out of the light so you can see me better. So basically, as everybody was asking, they were asking a lot of questions about AI, especially because, obviously I work in that field. And what people are struggling with is how to utilize this technology for different things, more than just having it write blogs, etc., and the power behind it in general. So there's obviously a rack with AI to where you're able to get the responses that you're looking for. So sometimes people will type in something that isn't really evasive or troubling, but what it is, the AI may perhaps it could be due to the way you type it. It could just be in general the way that it's the reply is actually being taken. So there's different strategies that you can utilize to essentially speak the machine, give it the feed it in, and then in turn it gives.
You're a little bit choppy. I think you might be rugging just a little bit.
Go ahead. Is it better?
I can't really hear you. If you want, sometimes it. Oh, there it goes. Sometimes it does help to jump out and jump. Yeah, there you go. He's probably gonna jump out and jump back in. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you guys being here. Let's see who we got. We have Jesse. Oh man, I hope I say your name right. Is it Dowsett? Douse? Appreciate you being here. Racket in the house. What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? We're gonna wait and see if Christopher jumps back on. Looks like he was having a little bit of internet issues. Game looks really cool, but while he's gone, let's check it out with audio. Let's see here. Hey, what up?
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, sounds better. Neilblog in the house. What's going on, Neilblog? Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you showing up. Let me go ahead and get out of here. So we were talking about
ChatGPT.
The ChatGPT, yeah.
Yeah, so with ChatGPT, basically what we're saying is it's basically helping people how to utilize the actual software to get the results that they're looking for. Because we didn't just want to cover stuff that's involved in crypto. Looking at it as a company, we want to offer value wherever we can, especially in the tech space in general, because we're technologists by nature. We love this and basically anything associated with it. And the future of crypto and NFTs and all this technology isn't just going to be in, the simple, Web3 state of mind. The goal really for us and how we look at it is our goal is to make Web3 look like Web 2, and most importantly, look and feel like Web 2. So when you have you don't want to tell grandma who doesn't understand this at all, but you told her to put her 401k into this one crypto or this NFT project. And let's say, grandma loses her life savings and has no idea what's going on. That's kind of not the goal. The goal is for this to be seamless and to feel familiar and welcoming, like something that you've used before, something that you've done before. So the goal is to kind of make it look and feel like a Web 2, but built on Web 3 technology. And the one way to grow this industry is to start adopting concepts and technologies from other platforms. You want to be able to utilize parallel and cross technologies, because if you're able to add that value to something that's already working, then obviously you can build something to be bigger than what it was to begin with.
Yeah. I laughed when you were talking about the grandma and the 401k, because I actually did talk my grandma into investing one time. I did it one time. And it was back in the day, and it was right before Suzuki Inu rubbed. And I said, "Oh,
Yeah.
she was asking about what I was doing, and she wanted to be involved." I said, "Well, you can try Suzuki." And the next day it rugged. I was like, "I'm so sorry, Grandma."
That's horrible.
Yeah, she's like, "Mijo." I was like, "I'm sorry. I'll reimburse you everything."
I mean, it happens, man, and it's scary when it happens. So, our goal is to prevent that. And one way to do that is to find new ways to enhance the security of obviously these platforms. Because bridge technology is iffy sometimes. I mean, people do hacks all the time. And if you look at what happened on Binance, like 500 million. So it's not a joke. It's something that can definitely happen. And we want to make sure two of our biggest things, especially with the DEX, is A, that we have liquidity, and then B, that it's secure. So when people are obviously investing, they're able to not only get their assets back that they want when they want, but they don't have to worry about losing anything in the process.
Yeah. So the minting from your website goes straight to Ibiza Pay, right?
Yes, sir. That's where we're listed, is on Ibiza Pay.
Cool. Perfect. And then let's talk more about the GameFi if you can, if you have time.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. So
that
basically a little
interesting.
So basically with the GameFi, here's what it is. So it's the whole concept comes from obviously games and then finance. So combining DeFi with games. And gamifying everything, obviously for the long term. And the reason why is because what we talked about earlier, a lot of people end up dumping so much money into their projects and into their games, but they don't really get to keep those assets or bring those assets with them as the project develops. So that was really important for us to build something where it's sustainable and something that you can do on for as long as you're enjoying the ecosystem that we've built for everyone. And what that does is it gives people, the power to be put into their hands. We have a DAO also, so we're able to put community votes on updates to the game, things that should be perhaps added. We really strongly are pushed by our community, and that's why we love it so much, because we have people that are so into this industry. We have quite a few gamers that obviously want to do some testing. We're working on a couple different influencers contacted us. So like the goal is to really get this out there. And a lot of the big gaming companies, there's people say they're not, but they definitely sweat over this technology. There may not be big time players right now, but you have some projects out there that are making waves, and it's starting to get some eyes on it, and VCs are starting to invest in it now. And when the VCs come in, it's really it's confirmation. Once you have a proof of concept and they're coming in, it's confirmation that there's obviously a market for this. At first, they were really pushed off by it. They said, GameFi it's not a thing. It's not going to be big. Most of the people that I've spoken to, and I was like, you're out of your mind. Because if you can combine, the thing that you love and make money doing it, like gaming, I mean, isn't that the whole American dream? You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. Oh, hey, Steve, what's going on? Steve, the Canadian in the house. Now, is that what GameFi Nation is? So this is a bunch of other projects that are kind of working towards the same goal, or what is GameFi Nation? Is that just what?
Yeah.
Is that?
So GameFi Nation is going to be basically only a council also, and it's going to be a community of other large gaming projects. It's going to be a community of engineers, developers, people that are in the space, even some other people, obviously. And what the whole point of it is to push this industry, to innovate this industry, to innovate this space, and to find new ways to see how it solves some of the problems. Because GameFi is really complicated. It combines not only the engineering ingenuity of crypto, but taking into effect. It really gaming is.
You're kind of cutting in and out a little bit again.
Try again. What about right there?
Oh yeah, it sounds better now.
Is it better? Okay. So yeah, I'll start from there again. So really what ends up happening is games in general have been pushing the boundaries of technology for over 20 years. And longer than that. I'm talking modern games, let alone not even about gaming that can go as far as back as Atari and maybe even farther back with Pong and stuff. Their first games that were being developed. And because of that, you combine those, to me, it's a match made in heaven, because the technologies alone, not only do they complement each other, but, there is, room for growth where the sky's the limit. And for us, it's like, if you can solve some of the problems that are faced with GameFi, then you're automatically going to be solving problems you didn't even realize were important to other industries. So by innovating in this space, you're pushing the boundaries of a multitude of technical topics.
Cool. Yeah, I really like that. I like that there's a group of gaming projects that are working together, because that's a great way to network. Plus, it's a great way to learn from each other. That's a good idea. And you are breaking up a little bit. Like we can hear you fine, and then it'll break up again. So some of that we didn't quite get.
That's okay. Tell me, can you hear me right now?
That's a little choppy. And then
okay. Let me see.
Screen's a little. It looks like you're about to rug.
All right. Let's see. What about now?
Yeah, you see. Fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you why. So here's what happened. So because we just moved in on Friday.
Oh, there he goes. I'm gonna go ahead and check this out. We'll play this trailer and see if he pops back on. This is CROWBOYS. Hey, there he is.
There we go. Much better. So basically what ended up happening is Friday, because we moved in, Verizon couldn't come out to install our particular, obviously our internet, until Monday. So what ended up happening is when I called them, they didn't have availability. So tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. they're going to come out and install the internet. So unfortunately, I'm on data right now.
Hey, we'll make it work, man. Hey, so I think we touched just about. I mean, after all my questions were answered, is there anything else you'd like to touch on that we missed? Because it seems like you guys have a lot going on.
Yeah. Obviously, the first half is going to be the low poly development. The DEX is going to be dropping, etc. We're bringing the house, developing the metaverse, the V2 of the. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, a little. You got a little choppy.
A little bit? Damn.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, brother.
Oh, it's all good. You can always you're always welcome back on. If you rewatch this and you're like, damn it, I should have I wanted to explain that and you didn't get it through, you can always come back on.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll get a wizard. You'll do some editing and make it look good. So
this is live.
Can you hear me now? Oh, it's live? Oh, snap. Yeah, I forgot. Well, we'll do it again. I forgot. Either way. And then the second half, we're actually doing the metaverse, the V2 version, obviously, of the game. There's going to be a wallet that's going to be implemented then on the platform. And then we're also going to be developing a marketplace as well. That obviously the designs and some of the front end for that is already finished. But we haven't started working on the back end of that because we really have a bunch of other things that are just a higher priority right now. But it's definitely something that's on the horizon in the future.
Nice. And if you guys are watching this or rewatching this and recording, I'm going to leave the links to their Discord, all the socials that everything we went over will be in the description box down below if you want to check them out. I'm definitely going to be jumping in the Discord because you said there were some sneak peeks of the game in there, and I really
there's sneak peeks of the avatars. So you'll see the avatars, you'll see the in-game avatars, and then you'll also see the 2D PFPs. Yeah, they're pretty dope, man.
Nice, man. Well, you are rugging just a little bit. You're kind of going in and out, but like I said, I'd like to have you back on anytime. Like once you guys have more to share, or there's any kind of updates, and you get your Verizon going.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, you're always welcome back, brother.
Are you in the US? Are you in the US?
I really can't hear you, man. You're kind of breaking in and out.
Tell me when you can hear me. Can you hear me? No.
I mean, you're a little choppy. A little choppy.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay. Are you in the US?
You really just did. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, like the commercial? Well, so I'll give him just a couple minutes before we sign out of here. See if you can get a better connection. Sometimes if you walk around, you get that sweet spot in the house. So CROWBOYS is cool. I don't know if anybody remembers back when TX Tornado Crypto, when we were checking this project out back in the day. When we first came out, we've seen it. Oh, there he is.
Oh, brother, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. So, no, I was going to ask you, are you based out of the U.S.?
Yeah, I'm over here by Los Angeles.
Oh, solid, man. Solid, man. Yeah, no, I love it. By the way, man, I just want to let you know, man, you do a great job. I mean, everything, your intros, I mean, the professionalism behind your whole design, your project in general, just the podcast. I mean, this is incredible. I love the work, man. Congratulations on building this. This is great.
Cool, thank you, man. If it wasn't for the community that helped me out at the very beginning, then I'd never be here. Like, you got Steve the Canadian who was in the chat, Racket Club. Those are the OGs of OGs right there. Those are my buddies. They really helped me, gave me the confidence, had my back. But the intro is actually my 16-year-old son.
You killed it. What? That's incredible.
Yeah, the intro is my son. When I don't know if you can hear me that well or not, but when I first started, when I first started, I told him, I promised him that every one of my recorded videos, I'll put his music in the background and I will always play his intro. That's just my little, because I support him. That dude's killing it. He's 16 years old, and I just want to help him out with his passion.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that's incredible. I mean, I'm like, no, hey, this stuff sounds top notch, and obviously your delivery as well, man. You're incredible at what you do. You're a great host, and honestly, I'm very grateful. It's an honor and a privilege to be on your show.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Appreciate you for stopping by and giving me almost an hour every time. But like I said, you're always welcome back, dude. If you got any updates, just hit me up and be like, hey, let's. I'd like to go over this. We'll set it up and then make it happen, man.
All right, solid, man. Thank you. I'm glad at least my internet held for a little while.
It did. It hung in there. It hung in there. You all drained your battery, but we did it, dude. We did it.
I'm glad. God.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you being here. Everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out. And Chris, dude, anytime, hit me up and we'll make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely, my brother. I appreciate it, Chaka. You're the man, brother.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
All right, brother.
Entering the Chakaverse, Chaka Crypto. Welcome to the Chakaverse. He out speaking Chaka facts, I'm out speaking Chaka words. We out making Chaka raps, we call this the Chakaverse. No, I can't help you cop the bag, but I can help you do research. So come and join the Chaka pack, explore the Chaka universe.